morning, everyone. My name is Carla, and you have reached my FlossTube channel, KarlaBeingCrafty, where I talk about mostly cross stitch, but also other crafts that I enjoy and a little bit of life thrown in. Today is my 125th FlossTube episode, and it is Sunday, July, where did that come from? January 16th. So we are halfway through the first month of 2022. Time kind of flies, right? So I want to say welcome. Oh, the train derailed there almost. I want to say welcome anybody who is new. Thank you for stopping by. I'm glad that you found my channel, and I hope that you like what you see. You want to hit like and subscribe and come back every week. And for those of you who do come back every week, thank you so much for spending this time with me. You know that it is one of the highlights of my week. I enjoy doing this every week and look forward to it and plan for it. And yeah, I really love it. So thank you for sharing this with me and making this all possible, so that I'm not just sitting here talking to myself once a week, that I actually feel like there's people out there that I am connecting with. So a couple reminders: next week, next Sunday, after I film my video, and it should be uploaded by then, but at 2 o'clock, Sunday, the 23rd, Pacific time, we will be having another Zoom Stitchy meetup, to just stitch and chat and, you know, hang out together. So if you would like to join, then please just send me a private message on Instagram, and I will give you the code, the meeting ID and the passcode, and you can join. It's going to be the 4th time that we've done it, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly. I've gotten to get to know a couple people just beyond the comments back and forth on videos, and I've really enjoyed it. So please join in and message me so I can give you those codes. Also, 2 sales that I'm kind of doing. If you are working on either the Twisted Rainbow Sampler or the Twisted Band Sampler from Northern Expressions, I don't know if it's Northern Expressions Needlework or, anyway, Northern Expressions, you guys know the pieces. If you're working on those, then please post pictures to Instagram using the hashtag TwistedSal so that we can all admire each other's work. And also coming up in February, grab those bee patterns and stitch with me for the Be My Own Valentine Sal. That's BEEMYOWNVALENTINE SAL. And I do that every year. It's my 3rd year of doing it. The first year I did that pattern up there, and it's kind of a twofold thing. The reason that bees are involved, and I have explained this before, but when I was married, my husband was an amateur beekeeper for a while, and that I did that with him, and it was something that was kind of a very happy part of my marriage. And when the marriage when the rug was pulled out from under me, shall we say, and I moved on with my life and ended up here and stitching and everything, the myriad of bee patterns that were out there, I kind of like turned away from, because they just, sometimes when you have had a bad thing happen in your life, the good memories are harder than the bad memories, and that was what that was. So I just didn't want to have anything to do with any patterns that had bees or anything like that on it, until I saw that pattern, which is blue flower gathering honey, and I loved it. And it was kind of like a step towards healing, in a way of, you know, not letting somebody else who had done something not nice in my life take over the rest of my life. So basically I was able to kind of move on from that memory by stitching on that and learning to love myself. So that's why I stitch on a bee pattern in February, and I'm calling it Be My Own Valentine Sal, because regardless of who is in your life romantically, whether you're married or not married or coupled or not, you know, regardless of that, you still need to be your own Valentine. You still need to put yourself and self-love very high on the list, which is really hard for a lot of us to do. So it's a reminder, and it's a way to stitch on a fun bee pattern at the same time. So that is the Be My Own Valentine Sal that I am hosting in February. Now I had somebody, okay, I'm dropping things all around me here. I hear these little noises. Sorry, it's distracting me. I had a viewer comment on the term Sal or stitch along and asking, you know, what exactly is it? So I know that, you know, we throw these little terms around in the cross stitch community, and when you're new, or even if you know, if you're coming back to the thing, a lot of times there are things that just don't make total sense. So let me give you on my take on what exactly a Sal is. There's a couple actually different types, and we kind of use it interchangeably and don't always explain. So when a designer has like a mystery stitch along or a mystery Sal, usually what that means is that they have a pattern that's coming out. Sometimes it's a mystery, sometimes you see the whole thing up front, but usually what that means is you pay for the pattern prior to the Sal starting. Oftentimes they will either, you know, they'll send out kind of a kit for it, like Caterpillar Cross Stitch does that. You get the fabric and the floss and everything when you order it, and other Sals, you know, may just give you a floss list, that kind of thing. But you'll get all the like the preliminary stuff before the Sal starts, and then once it starts, what happens is the designer will send you a portion of the pattern once a month or once every 2 weeks or whatever it is. So you've signed up for it, and it will either be emailed to you or you'll get a code to go to their site and get it, however it works. They drop a pattern every month, let's say, and then you go and you can stitch on that portion of the pattern. And so everybody who's participating in that Sal is getting that drop on the same day, and so everybody is stitching along on this pattern. Sometimes it's mystery, sometimes you see what it is at the beginning, and then but you only get a piece every month or 2 weeks or whatever it is. So that's that kind of stitch along. Then there's the kind of stitch along that's hosted by just any old person on FlossTube usually, because, you know, we have a forum to tell people about it. And there's two kinds of stitch alongs here too. There's the kind where it's like, I'm working on this pattern, stitch along with me, or I'm working on this designer, pick one of their patterns and stitch along with me, or like I always do, here's my theme, pick something and stitch along with me. A lot of people say that it actually stands for start along because, you know, everybody will start it at the same time, and then some people continue going, some people put it in their whip pile and don't work on it for a year, whatever. That's just, you know, how it works. So it's a start along or a stitch along. So again, it could be like a specific pattern that somebody's like doing for their birthday, you know, like I want to stitch on cinnamon stars. So everybody stitch on cinnamon stars for my birthday. I know people have done that. Some people will be like blackbird for my birthday, and everybody stitch on a blackbird design pattern. Or like I do in August, I do my black cat birthday Sal. So I will pick one of my patterns that has a black cat to start, and I just, you know, anybody who wants to stitch along, pick a pattern that has a black cat on it or any cat on it or whatever, and stitch along and post pictures to the Instagram tag just so that we can all see each other's work. My personal opinion is that my Sals that I'm doing are just a way for me to connect with everybody and to like be able to see something that you've stitched on, a picture that you've stitched on, that I can comment on and just kind of connect with you, know you're out there kind of thing. The first year I did my black cat birthday Sal, I had somebody who said, I'd love to participate, you know, in honor of your birthday, but I'm working on this project that I can't stop working on. And so I said, put a black cat needle minder on your project and post pictures to the Sal. Again, for me, it is just a way to connect with you guys and to be able to share our pictures on Instagram and admire each other's work. And it's fun, like a year, you know, I started Black Cat Birthday Sal, the first time I did it was in August of 2019. And it's fun to go occasionally onto Instagram and look at search the hashtag, excuse me, and look at pictures that other people posted to that, and, you know, other people's work. And sometimes like a year later, then they'll post an update on that same project. And I just think it's a fun way to do things. So, for me, at least, that's what a sal is. It's just very casual. It's just a way for us to connect. Another way for us to connect and share photos of our work. I mean, you guys see all my work every week, but I don't get to see yours unless you are a FlossTuber. So it's fun for me to see them, and there's no like rules, or, you know, if you have a pattern that has a flower but no bee, and you want to post it to the Be My Own Valentine sal because you like the idea of it, but you don't have a pattern with a bee, go ahead and do it. You know, there's no rules. Nobody's going to kick you out of the Be My Own Valentine sal because your pattern doesn't have a bee on it. I'm just saying. So anyway, there's the sal explanation. If you have any questions, something that I didn't answer or something that brought up more questions, then just put it in the comments below and I will try and answer. Okay, so the most exciting thing that happened to me this week that I have to tell you guys is that yesterday I actually met in real life, in person, Julie from Stitching at the Cabin. So if you watch that channel, and, you know, I highly encourage, because Julie and Alyssa are really fun to watch. Julie's the mom, Alyssa's the daughter. Alyssa doesn't stitch that much. She has a couple projects that she works on more sporadically. Julie has been stitching for a long time and is extremely prolific with her stitching and just amazing. She does, like, it feels like she does huge projects and gets them done really quick, although she said that that's an illusion. But she does chatelaines and mirabilias and full coverage, and she has a lot of really big, gorgeous projects. And we don't have exactly the same taste in projects, but we have crossover. We both enjoy counted canvas, and that has sort of started conversations with us, and that kind of is what facilitated us actually meeting up, because I can't even remember what we were chatting about, but I had said I just started a new counted canvas piece, which you'll see in a minute. And then I'm like, oh, and by the way, I have these other patterns that I've finished, and I know you like counted canvas. Would you like them? I can mail them to you. And she was like, oh yeah, I have a counted canvas piece too that I finished, and I have the pattern. Would you like it? And we were gonna like mail them, and she's like, you know, one of our offices is right by your house. Why don't we meet up tomorrow? And we can just, you know, kind of hang out outside 6 feet apart and just exchange patterns and, you know, chit chat, which we did. And I thought I was going to be like talking to her for like 15 minutes, and we ended up talking, like standing out there for like an hour and a half. And it was great. It was so fun to meet her. It was, I think, the first time I've ever met another FlossTuber in real life, because we've been in, you know, this situation, but, you know, I haven't ever gone to a retreat or anything like that. And so, yeah, I haven't met very many people in the real world who stitch. Very small handful. And I don't think I've ever met another FlossTuber. So it was so exciting to meet her, and she is a total sweetheart, and, you know, we exchange patterns. So I'll show you the goodies that she gave me when we get to that haul portion of the video. But it was so fun to meet her, and I really enjoyed it. And so she doesn't live that far from me. She does live in Southern California, and as I said, the one office that she doesn't really work out of, but it is an office that she takes care of, is 10 minutes from my apartment. So we kind of have tentative plans that when all of this Michigas is done, and it is safe to kind of gather unmasked and hang out for a while, that we want to get together and actually stitch and, you know, be able to be indoors and talk to each other and, you know, hang out. So I'm looking forward to that. That's something to look forward to sometime in the future. Maybe this summer, maybe. So anyway, so meeting with Julie was great. And again, I encourage you guys to go visit their channel. I think they're very close to hitting that magic 1,000 number. So it'd be great if we can get them over the hurdle. And it's very well worthwhile to go watch their channel to see all of her projects, because as I said, some of them are just, well, all of them are amazing, but like the chatelaines, and yeah, she's done several chatelaines. She's been working on well, I was gonna say it's one of the gardens, but aren't they all gardens? I don't know. Anyway, go watch their channel. Stitching at the Cabin. Okay, so on to my stitching this week. I didn't have any finishes. I didn't FFO anything, but I did have a new start, as I said. It is a From Nancy's Needles counted canvas piece, and I was really excited because I got to use one of the new bags that my friend sent me. They're so nice. This fabric that she put it on, and she said it was a little bit of a kind of a pain to work with because it's a very heavy fabric, but it's almost like a raw, like it feels almost like a raw fabric. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got that little bit of like slubby texture, which I don't like in my stitching, but in this kind of fabric is gorgeous. And then it's just all the baggies on it. Anyway, so the chart I started is called the Tulips and Fans quilt, again from Nancy's Needles. And I think when I got this, I can't remember if I actually purchased this from her site or it was an eBay thing, but I did get it kitted up. And I have to imagine that it was from eBay. Either that or it was highly discounted on her site, because I wouldn't pay the full price to get it kitted up. Okay, so I don't have a huge start on this. So just the center. Okay, do I have... Okay. And just the center done. But as I've told you guys, I really love doing counted canvas as, you know, an alternative to the cross stitch. And I love the fibers that are used in this. I think that's part of it right there, is why I love it so much, because I really, really like using the Crown watercolors. Which are these. And I love how they feel when I'm working with them. So it's a pretty palette. And this one uses one Rainbow Gallery Gold Rush. I don't think this is the original called for, because I think the original called for is not being made anymore. So that was like the alternative. But it was handwritten on the chart. The original isn't available. Use that one instead. So okay, so that was my new start. And I don't know how much I'm going to work on that this month, but next month my theme is going to be florals. So it will definitely be in the official rotation next month. Okay. So whips. I actually touched a lot of my projects this week. So first little whip is the love ornament that I couldn't find when I did my whip parade, but here it is. Oops. It's Mill Hill Love Ornament. I think I got inspired, or I inspired myself when I put the little lion ornament on that glass candle lid. Sorry, I dropped my scissors. To finish this one, because I have more candle lids, and I think that that's a cute way to display it. And actually, I don't know if you can see, but up on the shelf, it's kind of on the edge of my screen, but right there, that's the lion. Yeah, so it does stand up, and it's a really cute way to display it, I think. But anyway, so the stitching is completed on that love ornament, and all that's left to do is the beading. And I may be doing that this afternoon. I'm actually going to do kind of like a bead with me, or a little bead, not tutorial, but like demo kind of thing with it. So I started filming that last night, and I will finish actually doing the beading today and filming. So you'll see that eventually on either next Wednesday or, you know, in one of the upcoming Wednesdays. Okay. Catnap face. So you guys know last week I had that big disaster with this project where I stitched like 100 stitches, 10 rows of my diagonal, and then realized that I was pulling off the wrong part of the pattern, and it was completely wrong, and I had to frog it all out. So, I mean, frogging out stitches, I think, takes almost as long as putting them in, and it's way less fun, but I did get that done. I got those 100 stitches frogged out, and I put a correct row back in. So that's where we are. Did not damage my fabric, which, you know, is always a little bit of a concern. And then I got the one row in. So, you know, 10 stitches doesn't seem like much of an accomplishment for working on a project, but actually it was the reverse of 100 stitches and then putting 10 stitches in. So that actually was, ouch, quite a bit of work. Okay. Excuse me. I think I just pulled the one bag of, no, I did work on this. Okay, so this is Ella the Frog Princess. Mirabilia. She's my first actual pretty lady because, yeah, so she's my first Mirabilia. And God, I shed so bad. I have hair everywhere. Okay, and I actually have like a thread attached to it still because I was working on the skin, and I was working on the skin, and I'm doing the skin 1/1, so it's harder to start and finish it, so I didn't want to let the thread go. But I worked up her waist, her bodice here, got quite a bit done. I did some more in this hand, and I started that arm. And again, I'm doing that 1/1. I really love the way it looks, the 1/1, but it is kind of a pain. Sorry. It is kind of a pain, but I really like the way it looks on this. So I don't know. I mean, none of my other pretty ladies am I doing the skin 1/1. Maybe in the future I will do it again. We'll see when I get done with her, but really like the way that's coming out. But it is not easy to do 1/1. Okay, next is, where's my picture? This is Eva. Now, this is a Nora Corbett Eva, which I'm actually calling Eva Across the Moon because of my great fabric here. This is a GaRon Stitchery excuse me, Fabric Flair exclusive. So she's just going. Really pretty. Because she's a Nora Corbett, she's going to be done much quicker than any of the other ladies. So that one. That's the Twisted Band sampler, which I didn't, or Twisted Rainbow sampler, which I didn't work on this week. I didn't work on that one. That was my Wind Fairy. And yeah. Okay, so this is my Enchantress of the Abyss. Now we're in the Bella Filipina section. Enchantress of the Abyss, my beautiful mermaid. And I worked on her hair. So it doesn't, it's still, it's not an area where you can really see the difference I made. Oops, let me move the needle minder. But I just, you know, moved up in the hair. And this is on the fabric that I dyed myself. It's a 14 count Aida. And I just did a jar dye with grit dye to try and get this deep dark blue-green fabric that I was seeing in my mind. Bellatrix. I worked on her, her arm and the fireball. So she is coming along as well. This is on a piece of fabric by hand dyed by Rolanda. So gorgeous. Okay, and then last but not least, I left this because there's a bit of a saga. So this is my Autumn Equinox Pixie, which is, let me get you the picture first. I swear it doesn't matter how many times, I can never find the picture. Okay. So, if you look at the model stitch compared to my fabric is quite a bit lighter in tone. And I worked on this the beginning of the week, and I realized that I stitched the arm, and I realized that the arm was the exact same color as the fabric. It just blended totally in. And, you know, there's skirt and stuff on both sides of this first arm, but, and it is back stitched around it. But I thought, you know, I think it's too late. I think it needs to be darker. So, in fact, I kept the, let me just show you let me show you first the stitching. So, there we are. I've changed the color of the arm, the skin. This was the color originally. And it does show up more when it's in a wad like this, but when it's in stitches, like you can barely see it. It just blended in so much. See? So anyway, so I pulled out those stitches and I went to the Lord Libidon site that has like skin colors to try and find a nice grouping of colors that would make a nice darker skin tone. So I found one that I liked because I had all three colors and it was like, I think it was 840, 841, 842. 842 is the latest. So I pulled those out and I held them up and I was like, 842, which is the lightest, also blends right into this fabric. It wasn't peachy, it was more like a cocoa-y color, but it blended right in. It was, you know, a beige color. So I thought, well, the darkest color, the 842, that would be better. So I picked that as like my main skin color, and then I got two darker browns, and I stitched the entire arm. Plus I stitched down here and everything. So I did that all on, I think, Thursday night. Then Friday night, and when I looked at it, and I'm like, it's too dark now. And the reason was like, it didn't bother me that with the arm that it was dark, although it totally blended into like the browns of there's like a branch cross here. But I was more concerned that when I got to the face, I was going to lose some of the like the detail in the face because the back stitching I couldn't get dark enough to make it pop out. And her face is so pretty. I just wasn't happy with that color either. So I went ahead and I pulled out the arm again for the second time. It took 2 hours for me to pull out all the stitches. And I pulled out all the branch that I had done as well, because the hand is kind of around the branch, and it was just, you know, in cutting those stitches, it was messing up the other stitches. So I just pulled everything out. And then I went back to, you know, the 840, 841, 842, looked at them again. I thought the 840 is still too light, but instead of using 842 as the main color, I used it as the middle color, and I used 841 as the lightest, and then I used a slightly darker one. So this color down here is the 840, and then there's 842 in there. This is the 842. But anyway, now I'm happy. I'm happy with her color, her tone, and I think she's gonna look really good with that adjustment. But it was an ordeal. It was like a lot of frogging this week. But anyway, after I did all that and I got the stitches put back in, then I did some more up here. I did this little bit of green in the skirt. So she is coming along. But that was an ordeal. But you know what? I think it's better to do it at the beginning like this to make that decision than to get all the way through her face and everything and realize that she's blending right into the fabric. So. She's going to be really pretty. So that was all of my whips. That was a lot, right? So hopefully this pixie will not give me any more trouble. Okay. so when Julie and I met up, we did a little bit of exchanging of patterns, and so she gave me her one count canvas pattern that she had completed, and then she gave me some other patterns that she completed last year. She said if I want to stitch them, great. If I don't, you know, I can pass them on. So we'll see. I also bought some needles to try out from Amazon. They were like $9 for 30, and these are size 26. They're gold eye needles, so we'll see. My favorite, they look a little sharp though. I don't know, we'll see. My favorite needles are the Pat Carson, Pat's favorite needle, but I'm not seeing them anymore, and I had heard a rumor that they were gonna not be made. She, you know, she either passed away or she retired, and I'm sorry that I don't know which one. It was just like I heard it in passing, and somebody said they're not gonna make these anymore, and then somebody else was like, no, they still are. I don't know, but when I went to Etsy, to all the shops I normally get them from, I didn't see them. So I went ahead and decided to try these. They may be crap, but if they're crap, it was only $10. So I figured I'd try them. I like the gold. Well, one of the reasons I like the Pat Carson needles is because the eyes seem slightly bigger and they're easier to thread for me. But okay, so here's the stuff that Julie gave me. This Lovebird's Wedding Sampler, which she actually stitched this for Alyssa when she got married last year. I think it's really pretty. If I were going to stitch it, I wouldn't stitch it as a wedding sampler. I'd just stitch it because it's really pretty birds. Country Cottage Needleworks. What's this called? Joyful Summer. Really like that one. Julie has birds, so she has parrots. I think she has 4 of them. So anything with birds, she really likes. And then this is Loohoo Stitches Spring Fling. And then she gave me this count canvas pattern from Nancy's Needles, Deep Lagoon. And when she was stitching on this, I think that if I'm remembering correctly, watching her stitch on this is kind of what started me on the counted canvas, because I thought this was really pretty and I enjoyed watching her stitch on it. And then I went on eBay and I found like a kitted up pattern that was you know, I don't want to say inexpensive, it was like $20 or $30. Kitted up, that's a really good price, and that started me on my journey of starting counting canvas. So yeah, so it was fun to be able to exchange that with her. I gave her bubblegum and lime, so she can work on those, and so you may see those on her channel soon. The other thing, this is a weird thing, but I need your advice. So I ordered some makeup brushes, some unicorn makeup brushes that have glitter in the handles that moves, you know, because I'm extra like that sometimes. And they came in this little bag that has, you know, glitter, which is really cute. And I thought, you know what, this would be good for small projects or whatever. I can use it with my cross stitch. But the problem is the inside smells really bad chemically. It doesn't smell on the outside, but I don't want to put any like stitching type stuff in it until I can get rid of that chemically stench, which I'm sure is just because it's plastic and it's, you know, in here. So do you guys have any suggestions? I was thinking maybe I could stick a dryer sheet in it. Do you think that would work? Do you have any suggestions for getting rid of that plastic chemical smell from the inside of this so that I can actually use it? Because it's, you know, it's got glitter in it and, you know, embedded, and it's pretty and I want to use it. So if you can think of any way to get rid of that icky smell, let me know. Okay, so the giveaways from last week, they all went out in the mail. One person has contacted me and said that they got it already, but she also lives in Long Beach, which is like, you know, half an hour from me. So, of course she would get it first, but, please let me know if you've gotten it, just so I know that the mail worked the way it's supposed to. But they all went out last week, yay. So, I feel like I was on top of it. That was good because all I had to do was mail stuff. I didn't have to go to the post office. So in the future, if I do giveaways, that's probably what they're going to be, because I can't be trusted to have to go to the post office. I just don't do it. So I live right next door to the post office, by the way. Okay. My plans going forward this coming week, just keep stitching on my pretty ladies. I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm liking the progress that I'm seeing on them, and you know, as I said, in February, so I have 2 more weeks of stitching on the ladies, and then in February I'm moving on to florals. So I will show you the pattern, the charts that are going to be in that grouping when we get there. I don't know, I may have kept some of these in there, like maybe the Autumn Equinox Pixie, because she's kind of floral. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember. I did a list of them, but I'll have to show them to you next time or the time after. And yeah, so just keeping on with the ladies. I'm doing my filming of all of my extra videos for you guys for Wednesdays. I'm keeping up with that, so that's good. I'm brewing ideas. Julie actually helped me with a not a dilemma, but I really want to do like a fabric stash dive with you guys, because I have a lot of fabric and I'd like to show it, and you know, tell you guys where I got some of the things that maybe I got a good deal on it, or you know, fabric that I particularly like. But I couldn't figure out how I should do it, because I have them in these bins, and should I take each piece out and hold it up, and or do like a top down where you don't see me and you just see in the bins. But Julie suggests that I should do it, you know, like a face-to-face video and hold up the fabric, because she says it's an easier way to actually see the colors of the fabric and stuff. So I think that's how I'm going to do it. So I will film that eventually, and that will go up on a Wednesday. I did do kind of like a floss exploration last week. For those of you who didn't see it, you might want to check it out. And then let me know if there's any like particular type of like extra video or demo or anything that you might be interested in seeing me do. Because I have, you know, I have some ideas, but then sometimes it's like, well, I don't have any ideas, I'll just stitch with me. I have a beaded daisy chain necklace that at one point people were like, could you demo that? So I might do that at some point. It's kind of a fun, quick way, and if you have a bunch of beads and want to use them up, it's fun, and it makes a really pretty daisy chain necklace. So I think that's it, you guys. Next week I'll still be home for the weekend, and we have our Zoom meetup, and then the following weekend is Logan's birthday. It's also the anniversary of my mom's passing, so I will be over at Erin and Stacy's for Friday and Saturday, but then I'll be back for my regular video on the 30th. So yeah, so until I see you guys again, which will be next Sunday, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. Bye bye, everybody.